this man's wife had an argument with the kids and the kids' parents at the booth or whatever whatnot. And this dude, like, actually just like, you know, try to like, scare people or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? He brought you know what I'm saying, an assault rifle to the pool or whatever on the pool side where the kids was. So, I don't know what his intentions was. I think he was just trying to scare people or whatever, whatnot, or just trying to catch hands. Real though. I mean, but they caught him. They caught him and they they actually put him in jail or whatever. This dude is a firefighter or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Real though. So him and his wife got arrested for you know what I'm saying, actually, just trying to cause trouble or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They let, him, go. They let him out of jail. But they fired, you know what I'm saying, it's boss fired him or whatever. And, hey, shoot, that cost him a job because, what? I mean, he was in the hood or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Go try to pull up blinks on kids or whatever. Like, come on, what is wrong with him? Oh my goodness. Like, shoot, that's crazy as hell. Real. Anyway, these cops, try to arrested this protester for trying to do a protest, for the data center that's getting a build up in this town or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? He talked to the dude that was creating it or whatever, and this dude just got scared and just called the police on him or whatever. And he wasn't even posting no threat or nothing like that. Real, but he shouldn't even say that he was gonna be around his house or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Because they what I'm saying, that's why they acting like it's a threat, because dude said he was gonna walk around in front of his house or whatever, whatnot. Real though, and that's some crazy stuff or whatever, whatnot. But I don't know if the dude was gonna do it or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I think he was just gonna walk in front of that, data center, that AI center or whatever, whatnot. If that was the case, you know what I'm saying? For real though. Anyway, so this dude actually tried to kidnap this girl. He took all her stuff or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because he had her up in the school or whatever, whatnot. He was impersonating a cop. He said he was a cop, and he actually tried to kidnap her or whatever, put her right up in this green car or whatever, whatnot. And then when she jumped out and she was calling for help or whatever, he tried to hit her with a school or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad somebody stopped and helped her out or whatever, whatnot, because it would have got ugly. You know what I'm saying? It would have been she would have been cooked for real though if nobody to stop her. For real though. So I'm glad that dude stopped for her or whatever, whatnot. You know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, now this you know what I'm saying, these it wasn't no, it was some black juries to do this boy's take this boy's statement or whatever, whatnot, you know what I'm saying, up in the courtroom or whatever, and they let him go. Made it all white jury, all white people in the jury or whatever, whatnot, so we won't have a fair trial. Now Anthony, or whatever, Commander Anthony was was protecting himself against one of his classmates or one of his friends or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? For real though. And he said it was you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. He you know what I'm saying, he had to protect himself. Because why? I think that boy was gonna do something to him or whatever when I. That's it. So he just like shanked him. He shanked him right at that Trenton or whatever, right in front of him. It's just a simple that. Why? Because yeah, I'm already knowing that they would not let the other dude get away with a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? For real though. I mean, I'm telling you because he said they were violent or whatever whatnot towards him or whatever whatnot. So yeah, he just took it into his own hands or whatever because the dude that he actually just defend himself against must have try to go overboard or whatever whatnot. So I what I'm saying, I'm just looking at it from my perspective, he had the right to protect himself because yeah, I mean I don't know. You be there, protect yourself, you know what I'm saying? Something would have happened to him or whatever. And I'm talking about anything or whatever. For real though. That's crazy stuff. For real, but yeah, I just hope the trial, when the trial goes through, I hope they be fair to him or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, just what I'm saying, just up there, just doing something offense, it's just supposed to get you locked up or nothing like that. For real though, and that's on bro. Anyway, this one cop lost his kind of pick him on up there to go pull a gun on a fellow officer. For real though, this dude was a detective who pulled a gun on an officer because the officer was cooking fish up in the station in the microwave or whatever one night. You know what I mean? For real though, it was crazy as ever. I was like, oh my goodness, they fired him on the spot. For real though, put him in jail and all that. You can't go back there. Why? Because dude was bugging. He was bugging for real, gang. I mean, I'm telling you, for real, he was at the pocket gonna pull a blick on one of the officers over cooking fish. Really though? There ain't nothing, that's not nothing threatening or nothing like that. I mean, the station would have smelled like fish, you know what I'm saying? But for real though, I mean, but you had the nerve to put a blick on them? Really? Really though? Psst, that's crazy as hell. For real though. Anyway, so this dude was talking a whole bunch of stuff. I've been there to Tennessee or whatever when you know what I'm saying? Having a conversation and out there talking all that racist stuff and all that. And then when he found out he was getting filmed, he hurried up and drove off in his white car. That was crazy. He was like, it's too late, playboy. They already know what you look like. They already know what you sound like and all that. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. It was crazy as ever. He didn't trip and say, oh, don't film me. Shoot, it's too late, gang. For real though. Anyway, now I'm just up there, just you know what I'm saying? Up there just go, play my brother's game with him or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I just recently went all the way to downtown or whatever to go get my you know what I'm saying, dog shit or whatever or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Well, anyway, yeah, when I got back, I couldn't even make the video in time because rain got all up on it and it started bugging. So I was like, dang, I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? I had to wait all through 11, 11 something or whatever when I, you know what I'm saying? I mean, shoot. And me, I'm just keeping it a book. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shoot. If my phone, when I kept on acting up, I didn't know what I was gonna do. For real though, that would have just ignored it and just went to go play the game with Brody or whatever when I. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit the bell notifications so you see my next upload and my next post, and make sure I make a note of my tomorrow. And oh yeah, you can check out my previous videos if you like it. So long, farewell, goodbye.